Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to focus on the ending to the whole show here because obviously we're 3 episodes away, and Gimple actually recently did an interview with EW in which he talked about the final episode and talked about, closing the story, closing other character stories, or not other, but every character story, and he addresses some concerns that people have about, the finale really, I guess, feeling more like a cliffhanger than anything because of all the spin-offs that are coming. So yeah, I want to talk about all of that. So before going any further, first of all, please be aware that this video will contain spoilers for episode 21. I'm not going to talk about what happened in that episode specifically, like certain things, but I want to talk about episode 22's trailer and whatnot, and just talk about the stuff that was shown in there and whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of spoilery a little bit, which, speaking of that, I will be doing some more breakdowns of that trailer and stuff like that. Just yesterday, I was pretty sick yesterday, which was kind of weird because I stayed up for 40 hours straight, literally doing videos and just having to manage all that stuff. It really was like that was just like, again, I can't do that anymore, so I'm not doing it anymore. It really hit me hard there, so that's why I was out completely yesterday, but I do feel so much better now, so that's why I'm getting back on it. But I'm going to be doing a couple trailer breakdowns for episode 22 because I want to focus on specific storylines that were in there. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. We're about a little under a month now, until that very final episode. So yeah, we're getting really close. Now, I'm going to leave a link down below to the article for EW, so definitely go check that out if you want to see exactly what Gimple was saying. But basically, he says that the finale is going to be different from the comic, the same but different, which I love that. And again, I'm paraphrasing there, but he's saying that it's going to be very different because it has to be. It's the story right now is so different than where it was in the comic. It's going to be the same, but it's going to be different, which is just that's Gimple speak, right? He's always been like that. He does not give anything away. He's so vague with everything. That's why that CRM comment that he made last October was so shocking, and you can tell it shocked him. If you watch the clip, he's embarrassed that he actually said that, because he says when he was asked, does the Pacific Republic know of the Commonwealth, he says we will learn the answer to that this season, basically. And he was like, oh, that's actually really spoilery. He was so embarrassed that immediately I was like, okay, so we're gonna find out at some point here. We have 3 more episodes left, so we're obviously getting to that point now to find out, right? So, yeah, it's just kind of hilarious because ever since then, he's been pretty quiet on the whole entire thing here. And so, what happens in the comic, and I guess this will sort of contain spoilers for that, but basically what happens is Rick Grimes dies because of Sebastian. Rick Grimes, at the end of the Commonwealth arc, Pamela started to turn on her own people, the people that were fighting back, and just basically wanted to kill them all. And so she got a lot of people to try and kill them. And, there was a lot of issues with that, and Rick basically stopped everyone from fighting, went into this really crazy speech, and everyone just stopped. And Pamela Milton sort of, she lost her power, but she also sort of understood a little bit too. There was something there where Pamela was like, yeah, you know what? He should be the leader, basically. I'm not that. That's the thing about Pamela is she's evil, but she's not necessarily that evil. Now, I will say, I think the show's version could be a little different, but we'll have to wait and see on that. I don't know where they're going to go here, but basically all that happens, and Sebastian is pretty annoyed by all of it, and then goes and kills Rick Grimes in his sleep, basically. And it's pretty crazy. And then, you cut forward 25 years into the future. Sebastian is still in jail. I don't know if it was 25 years. It could have been 15 to 30 years. There's no set time or time jump or whatever. It's basically in that range, 15 to 30 years. And yeah, everyone's much older. And then you just see a very different version of every community. You see the Commonwealth, but I feel like you see parts of Alexandria and just other places. No one's really living in Alexandria anymore. I think some people could be, but everyone's just kind of living on their own because they own so much of the United States, and it's so well protected now that you don't have to live in one community anymore, right? So a lot of people aren't really living in Alexandria anymore. So that's kind of cool. And so on the show, you obviously can't do that. For one, Sebastian's dead, so we're not going to begin that storyline at all. 2, a lot of characters are getting spin-offs. That true ending where you want to do that time jump can't really be done because of that. So that's 2 things that are already those are 2 big things there, right? So I feel like they're going to have some stuff there where it really feels like some things are the same, because one thing that time jump does do is shows our characters just sort of happy and whatnot. You'll get these panels of you'll see Eugene, and I think at this point Stephanie actually passed away, and so you see Eugene in front of her grave. It's kind of sad. You see some stuff with Mercer and Princess Happy. They're much older now. And there's just like these montages of stuff. So in that sense, could I see them doing that? Yeah, definitely. If they want to do something like that. But again, it couldn't be in a way where it makes sense with the time jump. Like maybe they do something where they jump forward 6 months to a year before Daryl and them leave, right? Like maybe they find out some stuff with Rick and the Civic Republic and stuff, but like they don't go out yet because they need some more concrete information. And so maybe just in that last episode there, they learn some more stuff here and then they go out, right? That's kind of what I'm predicting at this point. I feel like they're going to hold off on some of this stuff for a little bit. Like, I think it's going to come, though. Like, it's definitely going to be coming out here. But yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, the comic ending is just so different from all of this that I just don't know how you can really, tell that same story. And a lot of people want that ending. Honestly, to me, when I reviewed that comic ending, like, to me, it was probably the best way you could end the series. Honestly, that's how I've always envisioned the Walking Dead ending, was basically like that. I just, happily ever after. Rick basically, he was killed tragically or whatever, but what he stood for, is felt through this entire community and is what is keeping this place, the way it is. And, Carl is now grown up. And obviously on the show, it sucks because Carl can't be around, but there's just a lot of things that the show can't do. And, because Rick and Michonne are returning next year, because we're getting all those spinoffs, it just seems like that true ending that we all want won't be happening for quite a while. Like, I think we have to wait a couple more years for all of this to end. Then I think we'll get that true ending, because as of now, it just kind of feels like they could end some character storylines, but not all characters, Like, I know for certain characters, it's going to feel more like an ending because we're not going to see them for a while, like Judith and RJ, right? So I don't know how you end those stories, but I feel like for them, there might be some sense of conclusion there. Maybe they're just like, they're waiting for Daryl and them to come back, with Rick and Michonne. I don't know. But I think there's going to be some sense of conclusion there, especially with a character like Carol as well. Because, I mean, in terms of writing that character, I know they've said that she might come back in the Daryl spinoff eventually, maybe in a season 2 or something. But, like, they didn't know that at the time. And just to be safe, you want to sort of, tell a story there that will sort of conclude that character's story there, right? So it's just, like, I just think it's really as simple as this isn't the end. And I knew this was going to be a criticism. I think we all knew, right? We all knew this was going to be a criticism and a big issue going into the last season here, because there's so many spinoffs, because Rick's returning next year. And everyone says The Walking Dead is Rick, right? And that's how I view it. The Walking Dead literally is Rick Grimes. And there's not going to be a true ending without him coming back. And him coming back in the very last episode here isn't that true ending. That is too rushed. Based off of where we're at right now, for him to pop up out of nowhere, that is not the perfect ending. It really isn't. We need to have him in the story for a while. Imagine if he was here the entire time during the Commonwealth arc. That would be so different. Imagine he was there during the Whisperer arc. Like, all of that would be so amazing and so much fun, that if it eventually got to the point where, the Commonwealth, they defeat the Commonwealth and maybe Rick dies or whatever, and then they do the same comic ending, then that would feel like a true and epic, finale to all of this. But I still think we're a couple years away from actually getting that, because obviously he left the show and now they're doing the spinoff and stuff. So I think we just got to wait a little bit longer to get that true ending. And I know they're really hyping it up here, but it's just weird. It's honestly just so weird. Like, no matter what. And that's the thing, when I'm online, people are acting like this is the ending to The Walking Dead. This is the very last episode. But, like, man, it's really not. I don't know why some people are pretending like it is. It's really not. Like, I think all of us we're just waiting for this Commonwealth arc to be over, because it just hasn't really been that intriguing and that fun. The only thing intriguing about it is some of the Civic Republic connections or teases that we're seemingly getting, right? Like, that's mostly the reason why we've been watching, is just for our characters to eventually find out Rick's alive, and then to just be in that new era where Rick is like the lead of the Walking Dead universe again, and to watch the spinoffs focusing on the core characters, which I think would just be so much fun, because you're getting rid of so much of the cast, right? So that's what's just so crazy about all of it, is it's not ending. And this does not feel like the ending to The Walking Dead where we're at right now. This just feels like the ending to something. This feels like the ending to The Walking Dead without Rick Grimes, because we're going to be coming back with, or after November 20th, like literally a month from now, November 25th, we'll be in a new era where Rick Grimes is the lead of the Walking Dead universe again. Everything centers on his spinoff. I know that's a bad thing to say because there's the Daryl Dixon spinoff and then there's Dead City, but to me, out of all of those three shows, the Rick and Michonne TV show is the main TV show, right? So it's kind of cool. Like that's what I mean. Like I'm really excited to be at that point. And so for this finale to really end in a true way, like I don't see it ending in a way that people are going to be satisfied with, because we're not there. The story's not over yet. There's definitely going to be some pacing concerns. I think that when we look back at season 11, we're going to say, you know what, there definitely was a lot of pacing issues, like I think episode 22 will end certain storylines like Oceanside, Eugene's trial, taking back Alexandria, because if it doesn't, then yeah, there's going to be some big issues here. But I think they've sort of worked it out where it's actually going to. I think it's going to wrap up all of that. And then this way you have 23 and 24. That's, it's really just going to focus on ending the Commonwealth story, right? Again, I think the Commonwealth arc could have been better. We can focus on some issues like that. The Commonwealth arc definitely could have been a lot better. I think we'll look back and always say the Reaper arc was so pointless. It took so much away from the Commonwealth arc. The bonus episodes, I think, killed the momentum as well. The show built up so much momentum. Like, it was going downhill after season 8. Like, Carl's death really pissed a lot of people off. Finding out Rick was leaving, people were kind of hurt about that and upset, because it was like, wow, everything must be coming to an end. But then Angela Kang took over, and even in those first 5 episodes of season 9, there was a noticeable difference. Like, things felt so much better. And then after Rick left, like, people thought, well, wow, like this must be the end. But it got so much better. And it was crazy to say that, but it did get better. And a lot of people said that, like, there's a big difference here. Like, The Walking Dead is back. But, the world sort of shut down, and then there was just a big pause there. The finale couldn't air for season 10. And then we got bonus episodes, which killed the momentum, because the bonus episodes, a couple of them were good, but a couple of them were really awful, right? There was just, story-wise made no sense. Definitely, it really, really hurt the show. And then you get the Reaper arc, which really, really killed the momentum here, because none of it made any sense. No one cared for it. And then you get into the Commonwealth arc, which actually started to pick things up a little bit, get a little bit more interesting. The issue is, though, is that we're rushing through so much of it, because we did so much of the Reaper arc beforehand that we can't really live in this arc, and explore things and sort of world build and stuff. So I think that's going to be the criticism at the end of the day. I already know it. I already feel it. I can see it. And then I think the finale, I just think, again, I mentioned this before, like, once that last episode airs, I'm just going to have this, like, sigh of relief. Like, thank God, just, put all this to bed. Now we're in the Rick Grimes era, right? Now I'm excited. He's back, and let's just wait for some new footage. They're going to be filming in the next couple of months here, I believe in January, February, or something like that they're going to be filming this show. So much to look forward to next year. And like, my excitement is so much more genuine for that, because I think all of us have been there for months now. Honestly, ever since they announced that, I would say even before, but for sure, ever since they announced the Rick Grimes TV show at Comic-Con this year, I've been just like, you know what? I want that. Like, I am so excited for that. I just want to be there already. I just want The Walking Dead to end, and I just want to be at that point. So yeah, Gimple says that the ending here is going to be different from the comic. It's going to be the same but different. Yeah, it makes sense. It's different because it literally has to be different. There's no way it can be the same. And I just think, people can fault them for that, sure. But I just think that, yeah, I mean, I guess technically they didn't have to do the Reaper arc, right? Like, they chose to do a lot of that. So yeah, I don't know. I really do think, though, with the Reaper arc and stuff, I actually think the issue was, and this is why I don't want to necessarily put a lot of blame on Angela Kang and stuff, is I actually think that they were pushing off some of the Commonwealth arc for a little bit. I think their plan was to do a Reaper arc for like all of season 11, basically, maybe end it in season 11 at the finale, but at the same time set up some Commonwealth stuff throughout the season. Because I think they figured that they were going to be continuing for like more seasons, like getting a season 12 or 13 or 14, right? So I think they were setting up the stuff, and that makes sense in terms of traditional Walking Dead pacing, right? That we would probably get more seasons of that. And so that's why I think the Reaper arc was originally supposed to be much longer, probably more in depth. But once they found out the show was ending, and then, they're going to be doing spinoffs instead, they had to rearrange everything here. And so the Reaper arc, because they already sort of set that up a little bit, or they had plans and stuff, you know, they had to figure something out. And so they went with what they've went with over the last year and a half. And yeah, I mean, I don't fault them for it too much. It's just one of those things that's sort of unfortunate about it all. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.